Hi.
We're here.
Sorry, I was dancing.
I know.
I
Whoever is watching, let us know. Let us know.
Yeah, my little tush was shaking back here. I'm pretty excited about that.
Isn't it all fancy? Thanks, Heather.
I still need to fix the logo, and I need to fade that music down just a tad.
We'll get there. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. I know there's some of us are having cell phone issues currently, but please let us know who you are, where you're from. Say hi to Ramsey. Can't believe he's letting us do this. This is very exciting. I'm have a notepad. I'm ready.
Well, you're one step ahead of me. Actually, though, I wrote some things down. So like
nice
baby steps.
Hey, Amanda.
I'm excited. You guys are putting together something really cool and following along. Hey, Amanda. Following along and watching this grow has been pretty cool. I know it's not easy. Bree and I have had a lot of talks on the back end, and being consistent and doing the things that this stuff takes is more than half the battle. Not to get too G.I. Joe in there for you, but it's true. It really is. And like you guys have seen it, like, and we're seeing it locally, like just getting started, good things happen.
It's very true. Very true.
Analysis by paralysis or whatever. That's so true.
I know. Right? I always confuse it too. But
mine was always progress, not perfection. Like just do it and you learn as you go. And I mean, we've all had to go through those learning steps, anything new, but you know, that's where the magic happens.
We got a Missouri person in here. Facebook user, and then we have Facebook user 2 and 3 and 4. And yeah,
that is when you don't hit the giving the StreamYard permissions, they're not letting us see who they are. So they're secret. So we get another Florida peep.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that because if I do it on my phone when you guys are live, like I don't have it. I didn't give my phone access, but my computer.
Right.
If I watch from the computer, it doesn't say Facebook user.
There is an app too that I just found out about for anyone who wants to watch our StreamYards. You can give permission to an app on your phone to be able to watch all of our videos right from the StreamYard app. I don't know how it works on the guest end though, so TBD. Welcome, Coconut Creek, Florida. I probably know you.
So, it's like right there.
Let's get started. Where do you want to start, Ramsey? Tell us about this thing. First of all, let me just say this. Let me prep you, right?
Oh, goodness.
I remember when Ramsey called me and said, I have an idea. And he's really brilliant with his ideas. I love hearing about his ideas. And I was like, tell me about it. And it was all about this community collaboration, reaching out to small business owners and taking real estate back to the basics of what it should be and historically has been. We know all of the small business owners, we know all of the moving parts in our community, and our clients and other small business owners come to us to find out who to connect with. And so when I heard this idea, I was like, oh my gosh, this could be a franchise. Like you realize
that's exactly what I said. It's franchise. I'm in. Let's go.
This idea is such a brilliant idea that if you do decide to franchise, this is my public record that I am buying South Florida.
Well, I appreciate that. And it's been a wild ride. This has been about a 3-ish year kind of thing. And not to get discouraged, because back up a little bit, like I've never, and I can say this confidently, but I've never been concerned about a paycheck. And I'm not saying that because I'm rich or I sell the most real estate in the world, but like this has kind of been a hobby. and when we were able to kind of move forward with it, and we got our I didn't tell you this, Bree, but we got our first check from this a week ago.
Oh my
And
gosh, that's
yeah,
great.
yeah, and so and of course and I'll get into it, but it's great because I couldn't do this without real estate, and this builds the real estate business. So that's why I've never made it a point to be a for-profit, money-making, like crazy thing. And so I've had a lot of naysayers. I've had a lot of folks who tell me I'm
Don't understand,
silly,
yeah.
but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and we're really seeing some cool stuff. So see, and here's the deal. Like I got all like formal and wrote out like this first sentence that I was gonna like walk on stage and like say something really cool and profound. But then you guys kind of said it for me. So see, you guys are doing it for
Perfect.
me, and that's what it all works that way. But no, so let me get started here, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of read this like formal, like kind of cool little sentence I had, and then I'm gonna let Heather show a couple of things of what we've done, and I am gonna reference two books um, that have helped this process, and Bree and I have talked about them and done some other things. But the deal is, real estate agents are we're all fighting for the same business. Like, regardless, I'm in a small town of roughly 15,000 people, and there's 100 real estate agents, and I have coffee and beers and happy hour and dinner with the same folks that the other 99 real estate agents in our town are fighting over. I've got Lake of the Ozarks in my deal, just so you have a better idea of where I am. But I'm actually in Lebanon, Missouri, and so for those of you who don't know where Lebanon is, it's right smack dab in this basically the southwest part of Missouri. And we're a town of 15,000, and I've grown up here, lived my whole life here, and I am becoming the community guy through this, which has been an offset of what we were trying to do. But I say all that because we're all fighting for the same business. And I followed along, and I've watched all these influencers and these real estate people talk about go make videos of your community and go do this and talk about that, and all of that similar kind of playbook that we've seen, the Gary V's of the world. They're great. Like that's not a slight at them at all. Like I still watch them and I listen. But what I think real estate agents did was they saw that model, and then they were like, okay, let's go put a real estate spin on everything we do, or be the real estate agent that's doing those videos. But I wanted to do it in a different way that was more of helping grow the entrepreneur in those businesses, and the person running those, the person that doesn't know how to post on Facebook but has a business, or the person that doesn't know how to get in front of a camera and talk and be themselves. And it all goes back to Bree and I went to Denver and saw Jesse and Michael, and the know, like, and trust. So we've essentially built a place and done a thing where we encourage other industries, not just real estate agents, but insurance agents, RV parks. Um, we're working right now with a local bar that does a celebrity bartender, and I'll give you a little peek into one of the messages I got with that just the other day, and it's pretty cool. And it was kind of the full circle moment for this whole deal, and it was a message I never expected to get, and it just kind of kept me going, and it fuels my fire a little bit more each day. But yeah, we essentially just created a spot where all entrepreneurs can come together and just share their struggles. We can talk about trending things, we can talk about the community, we can do all these things, and then when it's done, we just say, let's get it out there, let's tell our stories, let's do video, let's sit there and learn a little bit about how to do a talking head video, let's learn a little bit about AI, let's do all these. So it's kind of became this like coaching consultant
Like a
kind of,
BNI, but for marketing, right?
right.
Yeah.
And then it's now turned into people paying us to just talk. So like we are becoming that community influencer, and it's weird because I don't ever want to be the face of something. I just want to help people become the face. So, um, and a full circle moment with that was one of the books I mentioned, and it's a book called Business Made Simple by Donald Miller, and he has a second book called Story Brand. But his whole thing is about being not being the hero, being the guide. And if you really go into the book and you start listening, you can understand that most stories all have the same plot line. They all have the same drama. They all have the same, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, just it's a plot. It's there's a beginning and middle and an end, and it's you can relate to Tommy Boy, to Star Wars, to the Hunger Games. In Tommy Boy, Richard is Tommy's guide and Tommy's the hero. In Star Wars, I've never watched Star Wars, but I get it. Luke and Obi-Wan.
How have you wait? Like
True.
you're a dude. How have you never watched Star Wars? Like my brother made me watch that thing over and over. And once they killed my boy Han Solo, I'm done. I'm out. Never watch it again. But how?
I get this all the time. I remember when the first one came back out, which was the one where the guy rode the little like winged thing, like it came out in like the mid 90s. That was the first one I've ever seen and the last one I saw. I don't watch like Star Wars, Harry Potter. My wife is a huge Harry Potter nut. Speaking of that, did anybody get stuck buying that stupid Manacle book for Harry Potter that now you can't buy? That was fan fiction. That's a whole other. I could make a whole video and story on that one. But yeah, but it made Valentine's Day really easy this year. So, but yes, I've never seen Star Wars, but essentially it's all about Luke needing to be the hero and his guide, Obi. I think it's Obi. Obi was his guide, right? Or
Yeah.
Han Solo, whichever one. But he had a guide that put him in the foreground or the forefront to solve the problem. So that's what
So you're really to emphasis on this for everyone who's following along. You really took a concept of being a community networker, connector, and marketer by having a unique perspective and just turning it into a hobby to a business that now is propelling your main business as well as helping others. So it's brilliant in the concept and how it can be replicated to help everyone because in my market, I'm in a large metropolitan market. And in South Florida, we're noticing just from what I'm doing, and a lot of you know, Heather and I started the Remax Creative Group 7 years ago. We just started this group for all brands. And it was a hobby. I didn't even mean to start it, right? I started it. And now it's so full circle to see small business owners like an acupuncturist, a dentist. I've had chiropractors. I've had my neighbor who sells Scentsy. They're all like, when are you going to teach us? You do it for real estate agents, but when are you going to teach us? So what we don't necessarily correlate as real estate agents is what we have to offer is translatable into other industries for other professionals, and we can be their guide and their support. So I just love that. So tell us more.
So, well, and you mentioned that, and that's kind of the thing is like, and I haven't been able to put this into words yet, but real estate, I think, is like the ultimate small business if you really start to look at what it is and where it can go. And I think what we're now figuring out is like we can take if a local business comes to us and they don't want to do video, that's totally cool. But like through real estate, I've learned about other things that small businesses can do to get the word out. I've learned about mailing, how to do mailers. I've learned about social media, how to relate to customers, like all of those things. And real estate was just a platform. So now we get, like you said, we get people coming in talking about, well, I see you on all these videos and I see you do this. And I'm like, well, this is all calculated stuff that we've learned and that we know is a means to an end. And to start, it was a means to listings and buyers and all of those things. But now we're seeing it turn into to how to help small businesses and do that sort of thing. It all started. What year did we go to Video Blueprint? 2019?
I think it was
No,
2019 or 2018.
it was 2018 because Greer wasn't born yet. She
Yeah, that's
wasn't. Yeah,
right.
she was, and right before we bought our house. So it was 2019 because we bought our house in 2019. Yeah, Greer was born in August. But we went to Video Blueprint and we watched Jesse and Michael and all the folks that had been there, and they were all. I knew we wanted to get into video, but when I came home from Video Blueprint, I have this problem of I can smile, I can talk, I can speak, I can do all these things on camera. I just can't put the videos together. My brain doesn't edit, my brain doesn't understand keyframing and all that. And so like I started to understand a little bit about it, but I didn't know how to do it. So when I got back, I basically went to Google and I looked for videographers in my hometown. And fortunately, about a month after Video Blueprint, my best friend hired a videographer that did some marketing for his gym. And so I watched the videos and we had a good time. We talked all about it. And I kind of helped him talk about what was going to be on the videos, how to talk about it, what the message was. And as soon as he got them out and the public started seeing them, I was paying attention. And I finally called up Brian and Swino Visuals. I wish he was here this morning, but he's not. But I went to Brian and I said, how can we help each other? How can I, if I do video content, it's going to help your business. And by me doing video content, it's going to help my business. But I want to put you first and foremost. And he was like, he looked at me and he was like, what? Like, this is weird. Like, and that's what,
Why are you
that's
being so nice?
right. That's the problem that we deal with as real estate agents and people like there is this blueprint to go out and like do videos for the coffee shop and all that, but there's still we've never told them why. We just go, hey, can we do a video for your coffee shop, post it, and then wait for the results instead of going in and saying, hey, like I'm paying attention to your social media, I'm seeing what you're doing, I do a lot of videos, I want to do a video about your coffee shop, your bakery, or whatever, and I want you to be in it, and I want people to know you. So I'm going to work on the hook. I'm going to do the thing that gets attention, but I want you to be the star of the show. And then people were like, well, like, why'd you do that? And I was like, this is the method. This is the foundation to making more videos is you've got to have a hook. You've got to have a reason for people to stop the scroll. We talk about it. And like, you can get on social media groups online, and I think a couple weeks ago, a good buddy of mine started an argument about the whole like, hi, this is Ramsey and I'm a real estate agent versus like one video I did where I started eating the blueberry cinnamon roll. Like that was the hook. And instead of saying the tradition, because I'm not traditional, I don't like saying my name. I don't like saying I'm a real estate agent. I just want people to watch and get some humor and do all that. So back up. I called Brian and I said, Brian, I want to do this. And he was a little bit confused. He didn't really understand. And so we did our first listing video. And that was in 2019. It was a luxury home in our market. So it was great to have that. And then it just took off. And we had to, when we first agreed to work together, we looked at like exclusivity rights. And I think looking back, that was a mistake because I think it did kind of start that whole like scarcity mindset. And I had to pivot away from that because like when we started, I was like, hey, if I do these videos with you, I don't want you to do them for any other real estate agent. And so for the first 6 months, I was like protective and doing all this thing. And I was like, it's working. And we started to get the attention. And so when we did our first video, we both agreed that it was not, we wanted each other's audience. We wanted specifically to be able to highlight what each other was doing in their respective industry so that my audience saw his stuff, his audience saw my stuff. And that was the basics. That was how we started. That was our number one goal.
Collaboration with collab.
Collaboration. That was the thing. And so it was weird because like, I felt like if I went and did a video and paid somebody for the video, I had no choice but to throw it out there. And that was holding me back. And when we had this talk, the limiting belief thing, like I didn't have the limiting belief of being in front of camera like some people do. Like that part wasn't a problem. It was the belief of how do I do it? Who do I do it with? And just doing it, the laziness and all that. So we did our first video, and we basically sat down together when it was time to post it. And Brian posted it from his, and I said, I kind of made his caption from an outsider of wanting what I would want to see and why I would want to understand the process of the video. And he made my caption from his eyes as just a consumer, talking about how it was cool to get a little bit more creative and level up our skills here and do all those things. And so it allowed us to be able to really dive into one another's strengths and not have to say that I did it all on my own. And it was never about,
Yeah.
hey, Brian, I'm hiring you. Give me the video. I post it. It was about, I want your business to grow. And he wanted my business to grow, but it never was a money situation. It was never any of that. So that's when like this whole collab, how do we work together? How do we offset costs? How do we help each other level up and do things? Because now it allowed Brian to kind of move his business up because he knew he had a person that was willing to do it. And if he got this creative idea or was working on something, and then I got to be the guy that got to make real estate content because he wanted to have a little fun. And then we've done it all. We've done everything from virtual reality listing videos to parodies to we did one where we had a lady come in and she talked about doing her house, and we set up this like 2020 interview style
That
thing.
was really cool. That was a very heartfelt, like, whew.
Right. And it started to figure out ways that we could do these videos and not make real estate the priority. It was making content the priority. And I think that's what separated us from other agents. And then selfishly, it basically made me no one wanted to try to do it because I don't think they thought they could compete with me, which has been good because I've not had to, I've not dealt with it. I've dealt with some other stuff. People try to mouth the videos, but no one tries to make them. So I'm still the only guy making videos in my market. So that's the basis of it. It was, and then learning how to help another small business grow their small business just started triggering my thought process.
So how did that happen? Because I know you've done stuff for banks, you've done stuff for your local high school, you've done stuff for that restaurant. What was the pivotal moment that the community said, we want in and we want to connect with you to collaborate, which ultimately will bring more business back to you when it comes time?
So the pivotal moment was this celebrity bartender thing we've done. And I went in there one day to have a drink after work, and he said, I want to do some videos. And I said, okay, like what kind of videos you want to do? And he was like, well, we've been talking about this celebrity bartender. And he was like, I don't think there's anyone that could help me do it more than you. And I said, okay, but like, what's your premise? And he was like, no, that's you. Like, I just want your creativity. I want your audience. I want your ability to make something out of nothing.
Oh.
And so I was like, okay. And yeah, then we took off. And and it's simple too. That's the thing. Like that's also the part of what we're building here that's different than others. Like my videographer is as good as they come. He can do documentaries, he can do it all, music videos. But I see that niche where people just need to get started. And that's what we're building with the collab is how do we just get people to feel comfortable doing it? And that's where now we're starting to see that. And like with Celebrity Bartender, like it was an iPhone and a mic. And it was not made to be cut into some fancy video. It wasn't made to be done anything. It was more I wanted the community to see the face of the owners. They'd never been on a video in their life. And we just sat down and we talked. And we didn't worry about editing it. And we didn't worry that the audio was perfect. We just basically said, what the hell are we doing? What is Celebrity Bartender and who is it? And why are you doing it? And it took off from there. And I'll share you the text I got from him. And this was at This was at I think 12:30 at night on a Saturday, and we had done our first celebrity bartender, and we were planning the next one. And I got a text from him, and it says, "I'm sitting here at Mel's by myself at 12:27, soaking in the fact it's okay. Sorry, soaking in the fact that we had our best sales week here in 20 months. It's you. You brought the town back to us. Thank you, Pie Face." He's referencing a video I did with my daughter over the Pie Face. And he said, "Cute kid. She threw you a soft, or you gave her a softball and she nailed you with the pie. I love what you are, and I love that you have instantly changed my perspective of us and this community. Thank you so much."
Ooh, I get chills. Every time we read that, I get chills. I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
powerful to be able to give back to your community. And you have now helped a small business owner empower themselves to have that creativity to go off and do the other things. And you know, I talk about this a lot, and so does Heather. I completely subscribe to the psychology and the neuroscience behind creativity, and that's what propels me forward because like Ramsey and Heather, we understand that it's that getting started. We have a creative idea, but we don't know how to get started. And there is a scientific process to creativity, and there's a scientific process to how you create neural pathways in your brain to have the fluidness to have more creativity. And it's been a proven fact that once you start that creativity portal, it is endless. It just builds and builds and builds and in your brain. So the fact that you started with one thing and now you are completely pivoting and empowering the rest of your community, like that's what it means to be a real estate agent.
Right. And that's where that's if you do collab as a full time. If I could, Rhonda, absolutely. And I think we're going to get to that point. I don't want to give up real estate because Jeremy, we'll always have Vegas, man. But no, the thing about that too, and I want to emphasize, is when we go in to do these videos with the I-44 Speedway or with Celebrity Bartender, like we're not putting real estate out there. If I'm doing my job as a real estate agent, you already know I'm a real estate agent. So I don't want to make this video and pop up Ramsey Stewart Real Estater or Realtor or any of that. Like the goal of these videos is to get out of the videos, which is weird for people because they're like, well, how are we going to do it? And I'm over here going, if all I got to do is come set up an iPhone and have a cocktail with you and record you like we're doing our job. And that's where we want to go. And so if I'm constantly creating this branded content that has me in it and does all that, when you get your wings, so to speak, and you're ready to fly, like I don't want to have to change it up. I want to add to what you are and build your brand. And another thing that's been really cool is we don't go to people and try to like hide what we're doing. Like Opus, you guys all know what Opus is, right?
Well, explain just in case.
So Opus is Opus AI is short form AI video editing. So when I go to somebody and I say, "Hey, we're going to do a video," I say, and I'm going to throw it in Opus, and it's going to put out shorts for you, and I'm going to hand them to you, and you can use them as you wish. I don't go and say we're some amazing editors that are going to add all this stuff. I'm trying to be efficient on the business side of things. So I don't want to white label. I want to say, hey, and I'm going to teach you how to use Opus if that's what you want. If you want me to run your social media for you, we'll talk about that. And that's another option. But like, here's a link. Here's the videos. It's going to even pick out the best ones that you can use, and you can post them however you want. So that's another thing that we're doing, but that's allowing us not to have to do a bunch of back end stuff. Like, and that's where it's coming into the whole consultant coaching. It's weird because collab started out as collaboration, but then we started to see all these CO words that went with it. Connecting, collaboration, community, conduit. A lot of people said conduit, which was weird. It was something we hadn't even considered. But
right, it's like their perspective. I love when you get outside perspectives because it shows how they see your brand and what you're doing.
Right. And it is weird because people are like, in our community, especially in a small town, people are scared of the word help. And it's really weird to me. because like everybody thinks if you do something, then you have to write a check or you're asking for money. And at the point we're at, we know that we're not. If I ask you to write me $1,000 check, I want to earn it. I don't know that I'm earning it yet because I'm building a business with you. And what better way to build a business than with you? And we all build a business together. And then when it makes sense, it makes sense. And if I preach to you video, and then your friend says, I need to sell my house, and I started doing these videos with this guy and it helped. He does video in his real estate business. Probably makes sense to call him. I never had to bring up real estate. I never had to do anything about it. I was soft selling the whole time, but I was coming with value and doing it the right way, in my opinion. And but
And you're
back to
serving, and I think that's what's important. So I think the whole point of why we wanted to highlight Ramsey and what he's been doing is he has taken a concept that isn't a new concept, but it's newer to where we are as a society, and in essence of going back to the basics, and he is serving. He has chosen to serve first and understand that by serving, it comes. And it's a long game, right? Like,
oh,
for instance,
absolutely.
social media. Yeah. When I told people, like, oh, 90% of my business comes from social media with my real estate business, and they look at me dumbfounded. I'm like, it's just like farming, which is actually our class next month, guys, is social farming. You have to go in, and it's not this instant gratification. It's like sending out a mailer, and what you did is just like sending out a mailer. It's taking you 3 years, you said, to get to this point, but it has avalanched into such a good cause that's empowering others, and then you get more listings out of it, which then helps you feed your family. So it's a win-win, and it's
Yeah,
your passion.
we've done a couple things too with some local nonprofits, and I think if someone's looking to get into something like this, that would be a really good way to start. Because if you're going, and what we're finding out, and Heather, if you'll pull up my collab page, I'll show you guys what our kind of mission one-liner statement is that I learned how to do from one of the books, and it's gaining consumer attention. Oh, slow down, go back up.
Oh.
Gaining consumer attention and elevating your brand in today's marketplace is challenging. Together, we use social media, traditional avenues, and the latest technologies to propel your business ahead of competitors in order to maximize your opportunities. That's what we are. We're working on what our little tagline is, and I think it's going to be something about building an audience or building your audience or something to do with that, because we're understanding now if someone comes to us and says, I want to get good on YouTube, we have so many YouTube real estate partners that I can guide them or connect them to those people and say, hey, here's who you can do. Heather, I've sent a lot of folks Heather's way with how they want to get their chime side or their KV core side or whatever. And like, that's where we are. We understand as a small business who the leaders are and who the folks that can really help maximize their dollars. And now we're doing it the same. We've done, Bree mentioned mailers a while ago. We have a partner that I've sent like 7 people for mailers for their business to him now. I don't do a mailer to save my life, but I've watched him grow his business. And I know that if you're going to do mailers, but it could be mailers for the RV park, it could be mailers for a bar, it could be mailers for the trash company. We're working on a new one with a local lawn care company. We're going to start doing videos with them. And now what's going to be fun with that one is we're going to do some like informative question and answer, but we're also going to pull some real estate yard stuff together and kind of make as much content. That's one thing I think we do really well is like we can dissect something. And like we talk about too, I don't think people understand that you've got multiple audiences. So when I go do a video for Celebrity Bartender, for example, Robin, and you can see in the little thumbnail there, Robin runs a nonprofit. But what we did was we interviewed about the Celebrity Bartender, but I had another camera and I just left the room and said, talk about Elevate for 5 minutes. and I took it was on her, and I took and uploaded that to Opus, and now I gave her 13 shorts that she can post on the Elevate nonprofit free of charge because we were already doing it. Like, why not give people that little leg up? Most people aren't going to take your idea and do it. Is that a
Because they're
fair?
them, they're not you. Yeah.
Right. So, but if I can say, hey, here you go, do this, and then we can also, we're looking at ways to we've got at Lake of the Ozarks, we've got a couple of businesses that want us to manage their social media. And to me, that's mind blowing because that was never the plan to be handed somebody's social media and be like, run it. But we're looking now at ways we can cut these short form videos up, and we can say, hey, here's your video and here's the copy if you want it. Use it if you don't. If they then use the copy, oh, wow, we use that too. And we've had more engagement on our posts, but it's all calculated how we post, how other businesses. I've taken ideas from Heather. I've taken ideas from Bree. It's, we know Kristen, some of her stuff, all these people, and just watching what they do, soaking it in. And then when others come to us, go, man, I know this person and she does it like this, and here's an option. And people are just, they don't get it, but then they get it. It's really kind of cool.
I agree. Does anyone have any questions for Ramsey about
Sorry,
any
I
of
talk
this?
a lot.
No, it's not talking a lot. I'm just like, I think it's so unique, and it's so not what
This was
people are
this
used to.
one. Go down again, Heather. That picture that you see, we did 7 days of lead up to the first celebrity bartender, and we were able to give that company or that charity $850 for one day. Then you see the guy holding the check with the jeans on. He's the guy now we're doing NASCAR related stuff. And I knew him, but we talked that night, and through that, which propelled us into now having this project where we can work together. And I think we'll have a national audience with that one. So it's kind of cool.
It's
If you go
huge.
down a little bit too, Heather, this was what we did. This is a local bank president that never done video in his life. And so I quickly at the end of the night said, recap it. We've gotten engagement. We've put the Friends of the Fort on the map. We've partnered with downtown to highlight them. We get the shares through them, but we never try to make it about us. If you read, it's always about the other people, putting them on stage. There was a Joe Rogan podcast that had Luke Combs on it. And if you get a second, try to find clips of it. But Luke talked about his biggest thing is watching his friends win.
Yeah.
And I had never really looked into it to that point, but he talked about the joy he gets of seeing, in essence, the hero on stage and just getting to watch and what he gets out of that. And it's been pretty cool to kind of see Collab take on that world. We did that one picture there. We hosted a class of local leaders. They came in, and they do it every year now. They come in and they see our office, and we talk, and we just say, hey, how can we help? And that was the first celebrity bartender there. And we're learning too how to share that stuff from our page. That is also essentially a sales pitch. And I think it goes back to what Bree talked about. The difference between us and the BNIs of the world is BNI is great, don't get me wrong, but you go to BNI once a week and you sit and have breakfast and you pay to be there, and then you leave. And you might go to a ball game or something, but no one in BNI is going, hey, let's turn the camera on. Hey, let's post just like this. That's what we're doing different, is saying, let's do it together. If you want to do it by yourself, great. If you need that nudge and you need somebody to talk for you, then there we go. And so that's what we're able to make happen in our little community. You can see a picture on the bottom there. Brian, my partner here, he's teaching another local photographer about cameras, and he's not saying I want to be the best photographer and I won't help you. It's an open door policy for all photographers. I open door policy for all real estate agents in our market. Come, none will do it, but the door's open.
So if someone wanted to find a creative way to start whether it's and I'm going to use the reference again, BNI helping each other creatively, small business in their community, based off of your experience and your trials and tribulations, what are like your three top tips for them to get started?
Develop a plan and put it on the calendar, because that's where we mess up a lot, is and going back to your creative ideas, like my mind is constantly being creative, understanding, looking at what's out there, seeing how we can take trending national headlines and bring them into our small town. But then we don't make a plan to like work through those. So
And
make a
I'd say
plan.
having accountability, because you and I do it a lot too for that
Right?
one tip. Like yesterday, I just texted you. I was like, I bought this URL. This is what I want to use it for. What do you think? And you're like, do it. Like
let
that's
me
the only
let me
confirmation I needed.
let me give you an example of this post right here. So this post is, we helped our downtown with their Christmas on commercial and their thing. And we told them, we were like, let us do it. We'll do it free of charge, but we want to show you that we know what we're talking about. This frame idea is nothing new, but in my town, people ate it up. And I was like, just go around. I walked around the parade, took pictures. This is all with iPhone, but said, let's put the downtown logo on it. That's since transformed to next year. We get this same job, but we're going to go out and sell media sponsorships and do this and give back in a sponsorship way to what we do. And then like these little frames will now have other stuff on them. But like if you go down, if you can you click that post?
Mm-hmm. Like the
And
post you want me to look
no,
into?
their post, like I think that one got shared like,
Oh, I just went to there.
I think it got shared like 125 times or something. One of those posts did,
Crazy.
but we've like quadrupled their social media reach, followers, and likes, all from just these creative downtown ideas. And again, it's just, we get to be on there, we get to help out, and then they know the collab guy is a real estate agent and a videographer. So,
That's awesome. So you say have a plan, put it on the calendar.
and then do it, regardless of what it looks like. Um, we've done events, and we embraced our flaws too. And like we have an event and then get there and realize we're dudes and we forget crap. So like we tell that story too, because we want other folks who want to jump in and make these bigger and give their expertise, because we know we can put them on a pedestal. This one right here that you're looking at. This girl is one of the new. She's a younger girl. She's a local mortgage lady, but she wanted to do something completely different for an event. And I said, come in. We just went in the studio, turned on the camera, and made her a quick video. We had an hour worth of time in it, but it just, they couldn't believe somebody was like, here you go. And we were like, that's our donation. We're helping the Kiwanis group. We're getting it. We learned a lot because the videographer wasn't here for that one. So it looks kind of terrible, but it works. But yeah, have a plan, just do it, and then repeat it, because you're going to get better every time, and you're going to learn, and you're going to help more people each time. And then next thing you know, you've got this snowball of stuff. I mean, we looked at what started out as collab was supposed to just be a building to help people or to get together, is now we're getting these paid opportunities, which have also turned into real estate. And so it's just this big circle. It's another revenue stream. Some agents probably, I won't even poke at others, but some agents do things to increase their downline or their team or whatever.
It's the
We just
ego.
we want to help other people, and so
Yeah.
we've since moved. We're in a new building from where we originally started, but that's been great. That's given us a lot. We've helped. This is a local drone guy. He has 3x'd his profits because we just talk about him, but he also helps us make videos. So
How
we're gonna
many
help how we can.
how many listings or new opportunities have you received for elevating your real estate business because you've just been helping others?
I don't keep really good track, but I'd say I know of 6 right offhand that I've got specifically from doing creative videos or meeting people through this sort of thing. So, yeah, and we've never, Rhonda mentioned it earlier, like I don't ever want to be the number one real estate agent. Like, if you follow me on social media, like I want to be with my daughter and my wife and my girls as much as I possibly can. And so I want to make a living. I don't want to work 60 hours a week. I want to work 30 to 40. And so I just try to be smart. We've upped our price point, which has been nice. That's one thing I didn't consider when we got into
Mhm.
video was the ability to move us up in a price point like it did. Because I mean, at first when I was in real estate, like it was all about as many as possible. And I think one year I did as a solo agent, like 74 transactions. And like I don't ever want to do that again.
It's no life.
No, it was terrible. It was terrible. And I'm still paying
But
for it.
would you work 60 hours a week if you were able to do the collab and help other businesses and it gave you your living?
As long as it didn't interfere from Greer.
From
Because I did learn and I'll get a little emotional here probably, and I apologize. But for those of you who don't know me, I met my wife September 17th of 2010. We started dating, and she has or had at the time a 4-year-old. And I didn't meet the 4-year-old for like 6 months. Like we wanted to make sure we were serious, we were doing all that. And I realize now that even though I was her dad, how much I missed out on. And so I don't ever want to do that again unless I can have fun with it. And I don't want to miss, because now Greer, flash forward, Greer is 4. And every day I look back and I look at the memories from 0 to 4 that I don't have with Allie, who's now 18.
Wow.
And so and then I'm like, okay, I missed those 4 years. Now Allie's 18, and I want to repeat everything I did from 4 to 18 with Greer, but I want to be there differently for Allie now. And so if to answer your question, I mean, the money's great, don't get me wrong, but like go-kart rides and boat trips and jet skis and making hamburgers and like I'll sacrifice everything to not miss those things now. And I've learned a lot, and
Yeah.
it's been really cool, and it's been eye-opening. And yeah.
And I think that I always had that as my weakness is loving what I do, even though I did do all the things with the kids and stuff like that. But I think my husband probably did most of the sacrificing of my time because it was,
Yeah.
I'm working so much. I love what I do. And then, I got football, I got cheerleading, I got all this other stuff. And so he was kind of way down there on the totem pole. And now at least our kids are grown up and, but now it's like our time, and life balance has always been a huge struggle for me. And I think it's just
That is my jam.
You want to hear
loving
you
what
want to
I
hear
do. So
you want to hear an idea I have that I've never taken advantage of? I have a podcast, scripted out topics, guests, called Dad Life Balance. Because I think it's a really cool term, and not enough dads think about it. Like we get so focused on
Yeah.
the checking account and all of these things, and like figuring out a balance. Because before real estate, I worked at Budweiser. That's where I learned like customer service and all that. But I would work 60, 70 hours a week. And that's when Allie was from 4 to 7. And like I missed those times, and now I don't have to do that with Greer, fortunately. And so I'm trying to maximize it. But like that balance is so hard. And it's so weird because we're in such an industry where it's so cool to talk about how much you work. I don't. It blows
I
my
never
mind.
subscribed to that, and I think that's why some people think I'm an oddity like you, and that's probably why we vibe because
Like,
like I
like
think real estate propels you to do things like what you're doing. So I love the freedom real estate provides for me, right?
no
And to be
judgment
there.
here. No judgment here. But if you made a post today about your phone not working, like I don't like explain it to me. Like that whole like I can't open a lockbox today because my phone. Like no one cares. Like in reality, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but like that's the part of this industry. And so when Rhonda says things like, "Would you do this full time?" Like I would, if I could, yes, and maybe we will. We've got big goals. We got some things that are on in the pipeline, and so if it happens, like it will. But if not, we're just having fun. I mean, it's how else can you work, but you're not really
Yeah.
working because you're helping, and like it's volunteering essentially. It's just
Yeah.
volunteering with your local businesses and your industries and your nonprofits, and we're looking at one thing that I think real estate agents, if you have a videographer that you're working with, one thing that's resonating with people now though is event. And Bree, you turned me on to that 5 minute podcast that's every day.
Oh
And
yeah.
I've been saying this for a while, but if you can give back to local events through video, like that, I think is a it's a huge untapped resource right now.
Yeah.
If we've done things like father daughter dance, we've put videos together for them. We've went in and we're changing it up by like with the sponsors, highlighting the sponsors in the videos too, which is something no one's ever done. Events are making a comeback, that people want that FOMO and want to be there. So if you're looking for ways to get in and help other businesses do kind of what we're doing, like that's an untapped spot that I think could really be taken advantage of.
I'm glad you said that. So I was in a mastermind with Kendall Bonner and she brought up a really good perspective. And because I'm in such a large metropolitan area, I'm trying to see how I can do this as being a collab community connector. And she said, when you have an open house, what if you tied a good cause behind it to get foot traffic into the house? So she shared an example of taking brown paper bags to all of the neighbors with a little thing. You don't even have to say you're a real estate agent. You can just say, I'm having an open house. Here's the address, daytime, bring canned goods for whatever it is. I mean, that's brilliant. And it's a nice way to then have those people coming through the house. Then you have content for social media, and then you've given back to a community or to a charity as well in the community. It's just a win-win-win.
Right. I think again it goes back to just put your realtor stuff on the back burner and put your community first, and then the real estate stuff comes.
It
It's just a
flows.
natural byproduct because you're going to do some videos or some volunteering stuff. Like don't make that about the real estate part. Make everything else you do so they know that you're a realtor, and then have fun with the rest and leave real estate out of it and watch what happens because it just you're not selling. You're
Right.
you're helping, you're serving. Serving's the big word
And
there.
I think that's what even like Bree and I have been doing is,
Yeah.
all the classes and lives and tutorials and graphics and
This
tips.
is the
And
fun part.
I mean, we've been doing this for years for gosh, how long is the creatives? 8
It'll
years?
be 8 years this year, I think.
Years.
Yeah.
And we were the only ones sharing holiday graphics in the referral group 10 years ago. And you're like, Heather, I think we need our own space. And I'm like, I can't do any more groups. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'll let that one go because that one just gave me a headache. But
Yeah.
but I feel anytime, and my husband kind of disagrees with me on this, but I'm glad you're on board. I like to come from a place of value. I like helping people. It is what makes me sleep at night. It's what
Yeah.
gives me the warm and fuzzies. And I'm just fortunate that, I think that's why I get referred and whatever. And things come to me and I get to do what I love every single day. I am a horrible self promoter. I do not go out there. I try so hard to just even put that I do something. And I can't, like, it just feels so foreign to me. So I am fortunate, like I feel I'm, you know, but I like to come from value, helping people, and then it just fills up my cup.
Sorry, let me just add, because this is so on par, and you know how the universe gives you things when you're just like, wow. So last night, Kristen Long sent me this incredible video, and if anyone wants it, I'll just comment and I'll put it on this thread. And then it made me cry, of course, because that's just me. But here's the quote I got at the end of the video. It said, "When you were born, you cried and the world rejoiced. Live in such a way that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice." So for me to be able to give back, that was like, oh my gosh. Nobody's going to care about how much commission we made. Nobody's going to care about how many homes we sold. What they're going to talk about when we're gone is the impact that we had in our community and the type of person we were and how they're going to miss us. And that's the legacy I want to live.
You can't even follow up after a quote like that, but I do have to say something based on what Heather said. So I got to do the MC of the Little Miss Merry Christmas pageant this year, which was nothing that was ever on my like vision board. Like I didn't even know it, consider something like that, but we were doing it. And after the first like intermission or whatever, somebody came up and they're like, when you said your name at the beginning, you didn't say you're a real estate agent. And I was like, why? Like why would I make this event like, and it goes back to what Heather said, like I don't need to make it about me. You already know the people here, and if I'm doing my job later, like they're gonna know. But it also is weird to even say it. Like Bree and I have had this conversation. Like I don't even like saying Ramsey Stewart Realtor. Like I don't want
Is that where you use real estate now?
Yeah, we're playing with real estate
I like love that. I want a t-shirt. I'm gonna make a whole collection for YCH. Sorry.
We're playing with that, and it's been fun. It's had a couple of other agents get a little butthurt over it, but that's okay.
I think it's hilarious.
Why. It's me. Different. So
I love different. I hate everything always being the same. And I love the creativity that when you came up with the collab, I still think you need to put on that business plan of a way to kind of franchise this out.
What's a business
I'll
plan?
buy one.
I do business planning because I do compete against myself.
And like
I want my partner on board. Let's just, and it's not just money wise, it's lifestyle. Like, you know, okay, we want a bigger RV because we want to be able to travel, or, you know, we want to be able to move. I want him on board with me. I've always made my kids do that because to me, it gets me thinking, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I like to build a plan. Well, it's not going to just magically happen. Usually, you know, well, what are you going to do to make that happen? Building that roadmap.
Everybody needs a Kenny and a Heather.
Sign me up, because I don't have one.
But what's interesting is to see, because you remember when I reached out, just so you guys know, is Ramsey and I had a similar idea, but I didn't necessarily know how it would come to be. And I knew I was trying to get into a BNI group, and I was like, wouldn't it be like really cool if I had like a marketing BNI group, but it was just like marketing. And then me being who I am, squirrely brained, started building out YCH and got completely distracted from it. So I think it's smart that this is something that's replicatable and franchisable, where this can definitely help other individuals, because like I've said just recently, small business owners are coming up to me because same thing, they're watching my listing videos. And every time I do a listing video, I'm like, how am I going to top the next one? Because people keep talking about it. And they're like, when are you going to teach me how to do what you do? I would take that class. And I'm like, wow, there's such a need for it. And then it just circles back into more business, because as real estate agents, our net worth is our network, so to speak, right? So if I can help my family progress more by helping others, why not?
We're figuring it out.
We're figuring it out. So I'm excited. I think this was wonderful. Is there anything like last nuggets or anything you want to leave with everyone?
Attention is currency.
Mm,
That's the in this world, like that's what I've been telling people when they hire us or we talk like let's just focus on getting you attention right now. Let's get people talking about you. Then we'll go into the creative stuff. But if we get
create
them
that
talking
buzz.
about you, get them to know, like, and trust you and hear what you do. And it's hard too because like people also they don't want to tell people what they do, like, you know what I mean? And so and they don't know how to do it. So if you can have an open-ended question, or you can do an interview with a bartender or bar owner or an insurance agent, like, I know what I went through as a real estate agent to get my name out there and how to put that and brand something. So we just try to do that with them and start with attention and then go from there.
Yeah, and I will say my biggest takeaway from you in 2023 through all of our we have I guess I call them mastermind calls or whatever, but I just call them, be like, Ramsey, what do you think of this? And then you tell me your thoughts is insights. I've got
Right.
to tell y'all, since you told me to wholeheartedly lean into my insights, do you know in the last 28 days on my personal page, I have reached over 30,000 accounts, and I would have never looked if it wasn't for you
Well,
telling me.
it's funny you bring that up because and I would love to see what people say in the comments, but we're marketers. That's our job. If we have listings, we're marketing properties. If we wanting buyers, we have to market to get buyers. We're the only industry in the world that can't tell our metrics, and it baffles me. If someone wants a billboard, and Bree and I have had this exact conversation, but if someone wants a billboard, the billboard company goes, we have 20,000 cars drive by our billboard every day. If someone wants a newspaper ad, the newspaper says we have X amount of people that subscribe to our newspaper. Real estate agents go, I have a really cool marketing plan.
It's true.
That's all they say. Like, and that's all they've been trained to say.
Yeah.
They never look at the back end and say, we're reaching this many accounts.
That's
We're
because they
doing
didn't
it.
have Heather to give all that information to them.
Right. But think about it this way too. When you're building out those marketing things, and when we have collab content, right? I'm starting to log all that because now when I go to a listing appointment, I have this audience.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
doesn't matter if they're watching real estate content or they're watching Celebrity Bartender. We've earned and built that audience and those metrics to know that we can confidently say we're going to do things a little different, and we're going to put it in front of this audience with this kind of people, and these people are going to see your property. And
Well,
it's
not only your audience, but most agents should be able to look in their back end of their website to see how many people they have actively searching in that area as well. And a lot of people don't even know where to find that. But
it's so much easier to say I have a really cool marketing plan. And that's
no,
where we stop.
I don't know. I like the stats, but that's
Yeah,
just
I
me.
like the stats now. Thanks to actually both of you. Heather's getting me organized and full of tracking things, and Ramsey's got me paying attention to my stats to the point where, guys, don't tell Kenny. I hope he's not watching. I have a Google sheet on this stuff. Like, that's how far in deep I am now.
I just wish Facebook would let me switch mine, but that's a whole other story. So
Switch
any
your account?
questions? It won't let me go professional for some reason. So my personal page, I can't get insights on videos and reaches like they let now. Like, I don't know if I've done something wrong, but I can't hit the three dots and change it to professional. My Instagram I can, but Instagram's not big in my community. So like
Yeah.
my community lives on Facebook. So I have to, like, that's where it all starts and then goes from there. And so we're a little different in that regard too, because
I wonder if you toggle to just me creatively thinking now, and I'm sure if anyone has questions, type them out now. So while we finish this thought, if you go to Meta Verified, because then you actually get
Tried it.
support and message them, and they still couldn't figure it
They
out.
said it's not available to me yet, but I don't believe that for some reason.
That's weird.
Everyone I know, like everyone I know can get insights. And for some reason, I don't know if I don't have enough followers. I don't know what. I've had
I don't think
videos.
so. That's not it, because I have far less followers than other individuals, but I have very high engagement.
Yeah, I don't know. But any questions? Anything we can help with?
We have this. Definitely will be rewatching this amazing content and possibly too much for my brain. Love it.
Sorry, but thanks for watching and rewatching. I probably will need to. And again, I made the first time I ever actually made like an opening. Like I had this whole like mindset of like asking a question and giving an answer and then telling why. And then you guys blew that all up. So instead, I just rambled.
No, but it's a good thing. And this is what I'm glad you said that. Before we go, I just want you guys to know that Ramsey and I, when I throw an idea at him or he throws an idea at me, his one word, why? And then he makes me answer it. And I really dislike that, but I'm glad he does it. And then he does it again. And so like the rabbit hole gets deeper, but then at the end of the conversation, all of the bases are covered. And I feel very confident either what he's going to do or what I'm going to go do for marketing. And I'm like, that's a really smart question to ask after everything.
I think I've gotten into this big thing about I just try to break it down in who said that. That was probably Tracy. I will. But yeah, I'm done.
That's great, guys.
Yeah,
Tracy's
go on it.
Oh, I love our community. Before we sign off, listen, we are still looking to fill speakers for Q3 and Q4. And we may have one spot left for the month of May. I'll have to check what Heather and I have on our sheet. So if you would like to be a guest speaker, if you have something wonderful, just send it to yourcreativehustle@gmail.com, your submission, and we would love to have you, or just Facebook message me. I mean, I could be chill like that too. So thank you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. We'll see you guys later.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.